Hey, it's Mr. P. Helps with Algebra. This is U4T2L9, lesson number 9. In this lesson, we're going to be adding and subtracting and not only just multiplying. Everything we've done with polynomials has been multiplying so far, which is what we're going to do with the warm-up. So we're going to multiply it using the distributive property, take whatever's on the outside, multiply it by everything on the inside. So negative 3 times 4 makes negative 12x squared. Negative 3 times negative 5 is positive 15x's. And then negative 3 times 2 makes negative 6. Done. Change colors because it's going to be so close. So 2x times another x makes 2x squared. And 2x times negative 5 is negative 10x. All right, so go back. All right, so now we've got a binomial times another binomial. So when you do that, you do first, outers, inners, last, otherwise known as FOIL. First becomes x squared, outers is 3x, inners is negative 7x, and last is negative 21. Now I can combine the two like terms in the middle. X squared minus 4x minus 21. And there's my answer. Okay, so one more multiplication. 2x squared minus 12x minus 9x. And then plus 54. Okay, combine the two like terms on the inside, and that gives you negative 21x plus your 54. Now, bottom questions, what you're going to notice is these are asking you to factor it. So I look at these two terms and I ask myself, what can they both be divided by? 7. They can both be divided by 7, which leaves me with 4x here minus 3. Done. Nothing you can do to simplify what's inside the parentheses. These can both be divided by 4x. Might as well keep changing colors. 4x, once I do that, leaves me with x here minus 2. This times this is here. This times this is here. All right, next question. This is a trinomial. They don't have any, there's no GCF. You can't divide all three terms by anything. There's no leading coefficient. So I ask myself, what are the factors of negative 36? And which one is going to give me 5 when I combine it? So it's not going to be 1 times 36. It's not going to be 2 times 18. 3 and 12. Okay, we're getting close. Is that going to add up to 5 somehow with one of them being negative? No. 12, 11, 10, 9 would be the closest we can get. And then there's 4 times 9, and that looks like that's going to be the combination, with the 4 being negative and not the 9. So it's going to be x minus 4 times x plus 9. 9 times 4, 9 plus 4. All right, leading coefficient, there's nothing that they can all be divided by. I always look for a GCF first. Since there isn't, I'm going to multiply, and you know what? I'm going to use the other method. Every other video I've done, I've used a different method. So 5 times negative 2 is negative 10. I'm going to solve this a little different than all the other videos that you've seen. First thing I got to do is figure out the splits. 1 times 10 or 2 times 5. And the one split that's going to add up to negative 9 would be negative 10 and 1. Now, since I figured that out, negative 10 and 1, I'm going to pretend there's no leading coefficient. I'm going to write it as if it was just that. So that would be x plus 1 times x minus 10, because those two numbers multiply to get negative 10, but they also add up to negative 9. Now, there is a leading coefficient of 5, so what you're going to do is divide both of those factors by 5. When I say the factor, I mean just the number, not the entire factor itself. If it can't be divided, 1 divided by 5 doesn't work, so then you simply put the 5 up here as the coefficient of x. So this becomes 5x plus 1. 10 can be divided by 5, and that would be 2, so this becomes x minus 2. And voila, what you have is your factors. There's your answer. Okay, so in this lesson, we're going to do very similar to what we've done in the past, only going to be using addition and subtraction in conjunction or with multiplication, which is what we've done in every other lesson so far. So it starts off with some simple multiplication. This practices what we just done in the warm-up. X times x is x squared. X times negative 4 is negative 4x. So block 1 is going to be represented by this area. Block 2, I'm going to simplify this pretty quickly. That's going to add up to x, and that's going to be negative 20. Okay, so if you use FOIL on this, you end up getting this answer. So these are the two answers we're going to use for the entire first quilt. The first quilt's going to need 12 copies of block 1 and 15 copies of block 2. So that's 12 times whatever block 1 was, plus 15 copies of whatever block 2 was. So let's go back. Block 1 was x squared minus 4x. And block 2 was x squared plus x minus 20. All right, so then that would be, if you solve this out, you're going to get the answer in standard form, which represents all of the pieces needed to make the entire quilt, because a quilt is usually made up of all those pieces sewn all together. So if each one of these is like one block in a quilt, and you're going to need 12 of these and 15 of these, what you should have in the end is the entire quilt. So I'm bouncing around. There we go. So I'm going to multiply first, just like we did in the warm-up. So that's 12x squared minus 48x. Plus 15x squared plus 15x minus, 15 times 20. Wait a second, that's going to be 300. 2 times 15 is 30 with another 0, so that's 300. Okay, that was pretty easy. All right, so now I'm going to combine like terms. Now, think of it as this being added to this. All you really got to do is combine like terms, things that are the same. There are no x squareds over here. Unless I messed up. Oh, there were. I'm sorry. So that's 15x squareds. Plus the 12x squareds over here makes 27x squareds. Negative 48x's plus 15x's. Okay, so that means your subtraction. So 48 minus 15 makes 33x's. And there are no constants over here, but there are negative 300 over here. So negative 300. All right, there is your answer. Now, that is in standard form. Now, the next question says, what are the dimensions of the quilt in factored form? Now, I know all of these can all be divided by 3. There probably is a bigger number, but I'm not seeing it. I'm going to do 3 first. 3 times 9, 3 times 8 is 24. 3 times 9 is 27. So 3 times 9x squared minus 11x minus... what is that? 10? 10 times 3? No. That's 3 times 100. Sorry. Duh. Brain fart. Okay, so do any of these have anything in common again? No, I don't think so. So 11 is a prime number, so it can only be divided by 11, and 9 does not. It cannot be divided by 11, of course. So looks like that is it. So now we're going to have to factor what's on the inside. So 9 times 100 is 900. Wow, I think I'm going to have to move on because I don't have my calculator on here. So what's going to give me 900? So that'd be 90 times 10 or 30 times 30. 35 maybe if I had a calculator on me. I just can't find the split right here on the spot. 45 maybe. 45 and 20. No. That's not it either. Okay, I'm sure there is a split to 900, but that's such a big number, I'm having trouble doing that right now on the spot. So I'm just going to move on. So what I would have done is once I found the split, I would have done exactly what I'd done on the previous page, which is continue factoring it so I can simplify this down. Okay, all right, so moving on. So you do the exact same thing in quilt number 2. Figure out what this expression is, this one, and then use them and just multiply by 10, multiply by 16, multiply by 8, and then change it to factored form. Okay, due to time, I'm already at 9 minutes. I'm going to go straight to the homework. So it looks like we have adding. So that's what this video is all about anyway. So you're going to practice and see what it's like to add expressions. So we've got a monomial plus a binomial. 2x's combined with like term makes negative 10x's. Bring down the 7, the constant, because there was no constant here. So literally, you're just combining things that are the same. X squareds combined with x squareds, x combined with x's, and constants, which is a fancy word for the numbers by themselves, get combined together as well. Negative 6x plus 7x makes 1x. Well, I'm just going to write x. I don't need the 1. And then 1 plus negative 3 makes negative 2. Done. Subtract. Okay, so now the difficult part about this is the subtraction means you're subtracting all of this. So 5 minus negative 8. Well, first of all, look at the x's. There are no x's over here. none minus 4 makes negative 4x. That's the most common mistake. There are no x's over here. So when you take no x's and you subtract 4x's, you get negative 4x. 5 minus negative 8, well, that leave change becomes 5 plus 8, and 5 plus 8 makes 13. Done. Subtraction. Now, I could leave change and change everything on the inside of the parentheses to the opposite, but I prefer just to leave it the way it is. Negative 5x's minus negative 3x. Okay, leave change would say that that's negative 5x plus 3x, which makes negative 2x. 12 minus 4 makes 8. Positive 8. There's your answer. All right, so division. Whatever is on top, you must divide everything on top by whatever's on bottom. 15x divided by 5 is 3x. Negative 45 divided by 5 is negative 9. Okay, we got a trinomial divided by 3. Divide everything by 3. 18 divided by 3 is 6x squared plus 3x minus 10. Done. Question 15. Divide everything by 4x. Okay, so 8 divided by 4 is 2. And x squared divided by x is 1x. Because whenever you're dividing things with the same base, you subtract their exponents. 2 minus 1 makes 1. 12x divided by 4x is 3. Because 12 divided by 4 is 3. And the x's literally cancel each other out. All right, last one. X cubed divided by x squared is x. 3 minus 2 is 1. And then minus this divided by this makes nothing. So the answer is literally just x. All right, thanks again for watching. Please give it a like to help you learn how to add and subtract polynomials. And definitely watch for future videos. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.